When you begin to shift your energetic frequency, it is quite typical for your life to become chaotic. It may feel as if things start to occur that seek to move you in the opposite direction of the frequency that you are trying to move towards. So, for instance, if you are trying to embody or maintain an energetic frequency of peace and peacefulness, it is to be expected that your life will actually become briefly incredibly chaotic. Things will start to occur that will, well, resist you transitioning to a state of peace. Now, first thing you need to understand is that there is no devil that's afoot. There is no Satan afoot. Uh, Essentially, an object in motion must continue unless acted upon by another force. You have been maintaining a certain kind of energy, which, if it was being maintained in an unconscious state, an unintentional state, is more than likely mostly negative. You are probably fluctuating between neutrality, anger, shame, and all the other various negative feelings. And maybe every once in a while, for very brief moments, you would be a little peaceful, or maybe even be happy or joyous, blissful, excited. But the grand majority of your life, your emotions are negative. That used to be my experience. In fact, I can remember clearly articulating this to people that I knew. I used to describe life as a dark comedy. I used to describe life as moments of long periods of pain, suffering, challenges, with intervals of happiness, bliss, excitement, and joy. That was my experience of life. It was my experience of life as a child. It was my experience of life as a teenager. It was my experience of life as an atheist, as a Christian. And I just thought that's what life was. But now that I actually understand how this world works, how our experience of reality works, I see now that was completely the result of my own doing. You get to determine or decide your experience of this reality. Since I have been practicing being mindful of my energetic state and intentionally selecting what frequencies that I allow my mind to occupy, the entire script has flipped. Now, life, for the most part, are long stretches of peacefulness, joy, happiness, contentment, with brief pockets of stress and challenges and things of that nature. But the beautiful thing is, I have already gotten to a point now that even when I find myself in those situations, I still am incredibly peaceful. Now, I'd be lying to you if I were to suggest that there aren't brief moments. I'm talking seconds, not even minutes. It really hasn't even gotten to that. It's really no longer at that place. Maybe, let's say, if I'm going to be generous here, maybe at most a minute or two, where I might feel the overwhelm of a chaotic situation. But really, at this stage, it's seconds, man. I'm talking less than 20 seconds of feeling a little caught up in the situation, feeling a little frustrated, feeling a little underappreciated, feeling all the various negative emotions that can arise if you buy into the external situation. And that's a beautiful thing about this. Now, why is it? How have I been able to get to this place where you are as cool as a cucumber in the midst of the storm? Well, you have to understand that the reality that you have been experiencing up until now is one that has been built brick by brick with your subconscious and conscious mind, with your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. And so you have built a reality where the foundation and the substrate of that reality mostly consists of negative energy and negative emotions. And so when you begin to shift, it is as if you are trying to shift into a completely new reality, a completely new dimension. Things need to be torn down. There are essentially invisible metaphysical structures that have been erected by your negative energy, and they must be torn down and replaced with positive structures, or structures that are in alignment with your new frequency. It is neither good nor bad. There is no right or wrong. You get to decide. You are the God of your reality, of your experience. This essentially, the way how I like to think of it, your experience of reality is a story, a game that you have created for your own entertainment. And you get to decide what kind of movie this is by where you choose to focus your energy and focus your attention. And so, some people live an action movie. Some people live a comedy. Some people live a romance movie. Most people are living a horror movie. Most people are living in an actual horror movie that they have decided or they have built completely ignorantly. They're completely unconscious of it, that they have crafted a horror movie for them to live within, to reside within. And so you get to decide. You get to choose. There is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong in regards to the reality or your experience of reality. So when you start to shift your energy, it doesn't really matter what direction you shift it in. If you are trying to change and you are changing in a significant way, there will be chaos. Briefly. Now, this is where, if you have any experience with religion, this is where some of the muscles and skills that you developed are actually incredibly useful. Because unlike, let's say, an atheist person or someone who's never religious and believed in the supernatural or the esoteric or the immaterial or anything like that, unlike them, you should know what it is like to practice faith. And that is what you will have to exercise in order to get through this period of time. Faith. Faith is just trusting the process. You can have faith in a person, right? It's just trust. That's all it is. And you have to trust that your reality is being shaped by your subconscious and conscious mind. And so, in the wake of the chaos that will arise, you must maintain peace. Now, the reality is you actually have nothing to lose because worrying has never done anything for you. Worrying, getting flustered, getting angry, getting all worked up has never helped you, right? And so you really don't have anything to lose by being at peace. But the thing is, most people who have not yet proven to themselves that their subconscious and conscious mind shapes their reality by being mindful of their energy and noticing how their experience of life changes along with them consistently holding to a higher frequency. Until you experience that, and it will come, and it shouldn't take very long, until you experience that, when you begin to shift your frequency and a piece of chaos occurs, and you're like, okay, all right, this is going badly right now, or this thing is baiting me into becoming angry or dwelling in some negative emotion, I'm going to hold strong and I'm going to continue to practice being at peace. And you do that and shit gets fucking worse. At that point, because you're so used to responding to the external, because you're so used to being caught up in the physical, you are going to feel an incredibly strong temptation to respond to the situation at hand. So, for instance, I'll give you an example from my personal life. In fact, several things happened today that inspired me making this video. So, today, I took my children to an indoor playground. And I did that because they were being a bit more rambunctious and challenging than usual. And my wife wasn't feeling well today. And so towards the evening, after I'd gotten all my work done, I said, okay, I'm going to take the girls to an indoor playground. And so I did that. I took them there. It was a new place, and there were some little micro stresses that occurred. It was a very large indoor playground, and there were times when I didn't quite lose track of them. It's just this very dense jungle gym area with a lot of climbing and foam ladders, and you lose track of them, and one is bigger than the other, so one's moving at 100 miles an hour, the other one's trying to keep up. But in the past, that would have maybe given me a little bit of anxiety. But I just was at peace because I trust that the universe will give me back what I've been sowing. I've been sowing peace for months now. I've been sowing it incredibly consistently for weeks now. Very powerfully. And so I trusted it. And of course, we went through the entire process, and nothing bad happened. We all had a great experience, right? Just a lot of little bullshit was happening today. Their water in their lunch kit, it spilled. That was weird. It drenched the whole lunch kit. Then we get in the car, my mom calls me, and she was being just very repetitive, and she just kept talking to me about something we were in complete agreement with. I don't know, she just felt she just needed to talk. Sometimes women need to talk. And so I just let her talk. In the past, now, mind you, I also haven't eaten anything today. I was working earlier today. I just never got a chance to eat. I was planning to eat after I got my work done. But after I got my work done, I was like, oh man, let me get the kids out of here before they drive their mother crazy. And so there's that going on. Guys, the entire time though, I'm in perfect peace. I just keep reminding myself, be at peace, be at peace, be at peace, and you will get peace coming back to you, right? We'll go to the supermarket, I pick up a few things. We get in the car, start driving home. Guys, on my way to the supermarket, I stopped at the ATM to get some money out of the ATM, or actually to put some money in my account. I had some cash, I wanted to put it on my card. I left my card in the ATM. I have never done that before. If I have, it's been so long that I can't even remember doing it. I must have did it maybe in college or some shit like that, a long time ago, if I ever done it. And now I gotta order a new debit card, right? So all this little bullshit happening, still staying at peace. I then get home. My daughter, I have a basketball in my car. My daughter never asks to hold my basketball. This is an adult basketball. My daughter is 3 years old. It's an adult basketball that I go and play basketball at the gym with. All of a sudden, we get in the car to leave the supermarket to come home. And she really wants me to take the basketball out of the trunk and give her. So I give her. Not a big deal. Be at peace. What's the big deal? Don't worry about shit. Well, we get home and my daughter throws a tantrum unlike I have ever seen, bro. I am talking about, my daughter doesn't throw tantrums with me. She throws tantrums with her mother. And usually I have to go to like clean it up and like calm them down. They don't, they might resist a little bit. Oh, I want to do that, and whine and cry a little bit. But full-blown snot running out their nostrils, like she is literally trying to crack open the pits of fucking hell. She doesn't do that with me. She did it tonight. For nothing. Over something she's never cared about, basketball. But the whole time I'm talking to her, as if she's being a sweet little angel. Oh, okay, baby, let's brush your teeth. All right, baby, let's wash your hands. Let's wipe your face. Come on, baby, let's change your diaper. And the whole time I'm being calm, cool as a cucumber, bro. I am a completely different person than I was a long time ago. And, and then there were some little things going on with my wife as well today. She was just not feeling well today. Now, why did I tell you that whole story? I briefly forgot why I even brought up that whole story. Because there were several temptations to abandon the process, to abandon the principle of sowing the energy, hold into the energy that you want to materialize, that you want to have materialized in your physical reality. I was tempted to get caught up in the moment, because getting caught up in the moment, it is the most logical thing to do in regards to immediately having the situation change. So for instance, my daughter was throwing a tantrum. I know that there are ways I could get that tantrum to stop on a dime, but they're negative. I don't have to articulate it, but I know that there are things that I could have gone the punishment route. I do not punish my children. Fear, shame, guilt. These are emotions that you breed in children when you punish them. The science, the psychological consensus is that punishment does not work. You don't need to punish children. You just need to communicate with them. And once they get to a point where they can understand what you're communicating, then they will start to change. But some things they just won't understand because they're too young. And some things need repetition. But punishing doesn't work. It really doesn't. It can get immediate compliance, but it does not work in the long run. The science is clear on that. And my own experience, I've been a father now for over 3 years. I know for a fact punishment doesn't work. And it doesn't work for adults either, right? You need communication. You don't need punishment. It doesn't work for animals. It doesn't work for dogs. You're not supposed to beat your dog. You're supposed to use positive reinforcement and ignoring them and setting boundaries. That's how you train a dog. You don't kick the dog. You don't starve the dog. You don't yell at the dog. You don't beat the dog. That's not how you train a dog properly. It's not how you train children properly. And it's not how you train people. You don't punish. Why? Well, if you're going to be consistent and you understand that your subconscious and your conscious mind is actually shaping your reality. Well, what do you think happens when you breed feelings of anger, sadness, guilt, shame, and negativity in your children? If you've ever been punished as a child, you know that those are the emotions that you feel. And so they begin to manifest a reality that is being built brick by brick with those negative emotions. But the point is, all that chaos, all that hunger, none of this was a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence that on the day that I didn't eat because I was working all day and my wife was feeling terrible and I lost my debit card and my daughter threw a tantrum of the likes I have never seen. It's not a coincidence that all of these things happened at the same time. I have been leveling up so much, and I'm seeing the results in my life, guys. I mean, I don't want to brag, but if you take a look at the views, for instance, on my Young Don Reacts channel, my reaction channel, they're all averaging 10 to 20K plus views. When I deconstructed from Christianity, there were people leaving comments in the comments section telling me to pack it up and put the fries in the bag because I was averaging 2,000 to 3,000 views in 24 hours. For over a week, people are like, oh, your channel is dead, it's fried, it's cooked. Pack it up. But I understand how the universe works. I understand how energy works. And so I stayed the course and I only got better with time. And that's why my channel is growing. My pockets are getting fatter. Just my life is reflecting the energetic state that I'm maintaining, which is one of peace, happiness, gratitude, and contentment. And the same thing is happening with various other things. But things will come along as you shift out of that frequency, that old frequency, into your new frequency, the more progress you make, the more deeply rooted metaphysical structures that made up your previous reality, those will start to shake and come down. And when that does happen, you're going to have periods of chaos. But it's by holding true and holding firm and consistent to maintaining this energy of peace that you will see you get on the other side of it and life will be better. Things will start to happen. Progress will start to be made. Things will start to fall into place and click where you're like, hold the fuck up. This is some new shit right here. Initially, while you're still getting your feet wet and you're trying to practice this, good things will start to come out of you maintaining a more positive energy. But there will still be a skeptical side of your brain that is like, okay, well, maybe I'm reading too much into this shit. This kind of stuff, it would happen in the past. Good things. But if you stay consistent with this, shit will start to happen where you're like, okay, nah, this is some new fucking shit right here. Good things of a type, of a kind that I have not experienced ever or in a really long time, that stuff is starting to happen. And it's starting to happen more and more frequently. And then the beautiful thing is, you can always go back. You can always say, you know what? Maybe this whole being mindful and being aware of the energy that you are maintaining, maybe this shit's bullshit. Let me go back to reacting to the external, reacting to 3D, getting mad, getting frustrated, having negative self-talk. Now, why would you want to fucking ever do that? Even if this shit doesn't work, this is a far more peaceful life. You're just gonna have lower cortisol levels, even if all this spiritual shit that I'm telling you is bullshit, and it's not. But even if it was, at the very least, you're gonna keep your hair. you're gonna age more gracefully. You're gonna live longer. You'll get sick less often because your stress will be so much lower. So at the very least, it's still amazing. And it's not something that, it's not like you can't be a Christian or a Muslim or an atheist and practice these things. There is no fucking crystals, nigga. There's no crystals. There's no you gotta eat a certain type of way. There's no you gotta do some special meditation. You know, there's that fucking shit ain't, you know, that ain't a part of this. It's all in your mind, bro. That's all, it's all mental exercises. And you practice these exercises and this approach to life, regardless of whatever other worldviews like religion or whatever you might hold to. However, it is real. It's not bullshit. And when you go back to operating the way you used to, allowing yourself to be in these negative emotions, you'll see shit start to go back to being ass again. Shit will start to fuck up again. You know? So you just gotta trust it, man. You gotta trust it. And eventually, your life will be of a sort that reflects the peace that you maintain internally. And I predict what happens eventually is you start to get bored. No longer is it that the external world is going to be just becoming chaotic, because once you've sown these seeds for long enough, eventually all you will harvest is peace. And then you get bored. You'll start to get bored. Your life will be good. You'll have money. You'll have good relationships and shit like that. And then other kinds of temptations will start to come along, you know. And at that point, the new challenge is maintaining peace, not because life is throwing chaos at you, because you would have outgrown that. It's going to be, you have to voluntarily, or you have to consciously choose not to walk into chaos just for some excitement in your life again. Your life is going to become so healthy. Your relationships are going to become so healthy. Your job is going to be so fulfilling and stable, and your financial situation is going to get so much better. And just all this shit is going to be good. It's going to be almost kind of boring, bro. You know, that's a part of the reason why people stay negative. That's a part of the reason why people are obsessed with politics and race debates and drama and fighting with their significant other. It's because it's exciting. It gets the heart rate going. It gets the adrenaline pumping. But fuck that, nigga. Fuck that. I'd rather be rich with incredibly healthy children, with an amazing marriage, with an amazing healthy body, with great relationships with my friends and family, and that shit get a little boring. I much rather that. And so that's what I'm holding out for. That's what I'm holding strong for. And we'll keep with that. So, and that's where the risk of pride comes in, because you'll start winning so much, you start to get a little cocky, a little arrogant, and you start thinking, you know what? Good shit only happens to me. I can go do this thing. I'm gonna get away with it because I always just win in life. And then, you know, you do some bullshit, some stupid shit. Don't fall into that trap. But that's a bridge a little in the distance for you more than likely. You don't gotta worry about that. You still got real bullshit to wade through right now. And so let's get through that arc, that phase of your life first. And then once you can't stop fucking winning, we'll deal with that bridge when we get there. But for those of you who hold to this message and are consistent, you will get there and you will remember this conversation that we had, this part of the conversation, and be like, oh, Don told me about that. That was coming. Here it is. My life is going great, but shit, now I want to do this fucking bullshit over here. Yeah, man. And so I hope that helps.